How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a crazy story out of Atlanta, Georgia. A couple, husband and a wife, were mailed a voter registration form for their cat. That's right, their actual pet cat, their house cat, their meow. They were mailed a voter registration form. Now, I don't know who thought that this cat could go out there and vote. Like they got a job and they work and they're actual human being that can vote. I mean, maybe you guys know more than I do. I'm not Albert Einstein over here, but I figured that if you're not a human, you probably couldn't go vote. But different story, I digress. Let's get into the actual video. In this video, you're going to see, I think, the wife speak more about the situation and what happened. To give you some context, after we get done with that, I'll talk about what she said. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
When Ron Timms checked his mail Wednesday, he found something for Cody Timms. Cody doesn't get much mail. Cody is a cat. He died 12 years ago. The family keeps his ashes in this green container.
A great cat, indoor, outdoor, loved his family, loved the neighborhood. He was 18 and a half when he passed away.
So the Timms were surprised and a bit amused when they saw what came in the mail.
We have a voter registration application for Cody Timms.
It even came with a return envelope.
How'd this happen? I mean, it's not reality. He's a cat. Here he is, and he's been dead for a long time.
Carol Timms understands that in this election year, there's a huge push to get people to the polls.
There's a huge push, but if they're trying to register cats, I'm not quite sure who else they're trying to register.
Correct.
I don't know if they're registering dogs.
The Secretary of State's office says the application did not come from their office. They say third-party groups often use mailing lists to get names and addresses. They released this statement saying, third-party groups all over the country are targeting Georgia to help register qualified individuals. This group makes you wonder what these out-of-town activists are really doing. Make no mistake about it, this office is dedicated to investigating all types of fraud. Even though Cody won't be going to the polls, his owner gave us some insight on how she thinks he would have voted.
He was a Democrat, and Cody was a brilliant cat, and I think he would have voted party with qualifications.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I'm not really sure where to begin. I like what the wife said here. She's right on point, right on point. What she was saying, what she was fearing might be the case about who's being mailed these forms is what I've been saying for quite a while with this whole mail-in ballot kerfuffle. That's really where I'm going to go. I think you guys pretty much know I'm going to go there because this is important. If cats are being mailed talking about, hey, come out, register to vote, then who else is being, or what else is being asked to come vote? Okay. Aside from the people, the human beings, you're talking about convicted felons, rapists or whatever, aside from them that shouldn't be voting. Okay. What about people that aren't even people? Cats, rats, dogs, pet ferrets, turtles, snakes. I mean, what other beings are being asked to register to vote? And then what's going to prevent somebody from actually filling out the paperwork and then showing up? What kind of background checks are you doing on these people that are actually registering to vote? What's on the actual form? Are they going to really do some fact checking? Are they going to grab birth certificate, social security number? Like, what are they really going to do? You may have illegal aliens coming out there and voting like that. You already have people voting as dead people. What's to prevent somebody that is not even a human being from voting? You see what I'm saying? Or to register a thing that's not a human being, but a human can come in their place and actually vote fraudulently. What's to prevent a person that says that my name is Cody going down there and voting? They could fill out the form and put something fake down, or even the same address, because they went to their address and say, yeah, that's me. I'm coming to vote. The only thing to prevent something like that would be, take a wild guess, voter ID. And it begs the question, why would anybody in politics be trying to ban voter ID? Talking about, oh, it's racist. How is having an ID racist? How is requiring an ID to do things like voting? How is that racist? People say that it disenfranchises people. Who does it disenfranchise? In many parts of the country, you're able to get an ID for free. You know, for this purpose, just to go vote, you just pick your ID, you can go get that for free. If it's racist to require an ID to vote, then what about other things that people that are poor, don't have much money, need an ID to go do? You're talking about welfare. If you want to get welfare benefits, you got to have an ID. If you want to live in Section 8, low income housing, project type housing, you got to have an ID. If you want to do the majority of things in poor life, you got to have an ID. That's just simple as that. You want to take a child to school, you want to go to school, you got to have an ID. Birth certificate. You want to fly on an airplane, to do anything beyond just buying some bread or something like that, you got to have an ID to do it. It's really simple. So why is it racist? Also, having an ID protects votes, because if you don't require a voter ID, what's to prevent anybody from going down to the voting station as you or as somebody else, stealing their identity when no proof of identity is necessary? It's just like going to the bank with no debit card or nothing, talking about, yeah, my name is Bill Gates, let me get $1 million out the bank. It's like, sir, where's your ID? That's racist. You know, that's racist. I don't have no ID. I need more money. You know, yeah, I'm trying to get $1 million, but check it out. I'm black, so that means that I don't know how to get an ID. Even though I got to this bank just fine, my car is parked outside. I don't know how I was able to get a license or to buy the car or to get credit to take out a loan, pay for the car. I don't know how I did that with no ID, but guess what? I'm out there with no ID. So what you got to do right now is go to the bank vault, take out the $1 million and give me my monies with no ID. You see how silly that is? It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. Having ID to protect voting protects you. And then let's get back to this whole mail-in ballot kerfuffle. This is obviously what's going to take place with mail-in ballots. See, it's one thing to apply for a mail-in ballot if, you know, you have a legitimate reason and get accepted on that. You see, that's something like what they're talking about in certain states around the country is just universal mail-in ballots. Nobody comes to the ballots at all. Everyone gets a ballot mailed in. That's going to be a disaster because, number one, if you don't apply for it specifically, then how do you know that people that are applying for it are even living? Okay, how do you know that they're even living? How do you know they haven't moved? Because you might get some mail that comes from someone else. Even if they filed a change of address, sometimes it doesn't always go through. You may get past residents of your home. Their mail might come to you. So what if they lived in the house, they had 8 people and they all could vote. They're all adults, 8 adults in the house, you know, like 18, 19-year-olds and then their parents, grandparents, or whatever. Anyway, you got 8 adults in the house, right? And they can all vote, but they moved out a year and a half ago. And you get their mail-in ballots to the house. What's to prevent you from just filling it out for them? I mean, how would anybody know the difference? If it didn't get a secondary ballot, nobody would know. That's the only ballot that's out there for them. You can fill it in and say whatever you want. They may be totally conservative as a family, but you get their mail-in ballot and they have no other way to vote except for mail-in. You just put Democrat, 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 mail it in, and now their vote is being stolen. It makes sense to have the application process, and it's got to be a valid reason. Therefore, if you apply for it, that lets me know, or anybody else that's in charge, know that you actually want it, that you live where you say you live. It just makes more sense. It's a logical thing to do rather than just having just willy-nilly mail-in ballots. You're going to have ballots in the wrong mailbox. You're going to have all kind of stuff going on. You're going to have ballots littering the streets. That's just rife for voter fraud. And sometimes your votes might not even get counted. I want to see my vote get counted in real time. All right. I want to see it right there visually. I want it to be in a controlled environment. So when I go down to vote, I fill in my bubble sheet or whatever. I want the Scantron. I want to scan it, and I want to have cameras in there. All right. I want cameras in the bathroom. I want cameras in there. So I know that my actual ballot is not being tampered with. It's right where it's supposed to be. It's being counted. I want to have full transparency. When you mail in stuff like that, there's little to no transparency, which is why you can have a dead cat get mailed a ballot. All right. And then the question as I close here would be, if the dead cat were mailed a ballot, was it the only one that got mailed a ballot in general in Atlanta or anywhere else in the country? Were they the only one? And if there were more cats, rats, bats, dogs, household pets, pet ferrets, hamsters, gerbils, whatever, if there were more people or animals that got mailed these ballots, how many of them actually got filled out and they went through? And people that claim that they are, Felix the cat can go to the voting booth and vote as them. Oh, I'm not a cat. I'm actually a human being. And my last name is Carter. My name is Felix Carter. I'm a voter. I'm a vote. And then boom, you created an artificial person. This is just really ridiculous. But this is what the left-wing activist groups want. This is what the left wing wants in general. They want confusion, chaos, and an ability to cheat the election because they can't win fair and square. It was the same thing going on last time in 2016. They want to have an open door to cheat if they need to, if they have to. They did that during the primaries of 2016. They pretty much, just jerked Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. That was pretty clear. Everybody was in the back for Hillary Clinton, so they had options they could do during the primary to X him out. The whole NGP, VAN kerfuffle, different story, I digress. The point is that they did a lot of different things in 2016 to get Bernie out of the way and to attempt to subvert the election and let Hillary Clinton win, but it was not enough. So as I close, I want to say this. Don't let your guard down. Go out there and vote, and do not accept this whole mail-in ballot thing. Obviously, we have proof that mail-in ballots and trying to send things is just not going to be very secure, not very efficient. Go down to the poll and vote. If you absolutely cannot go, that's understandable. You might be 1,000 years old. You might not be. You might be overseas or something like that. You might be deployed. That's fine. But don't just have this universal mail-in ballot. Like I said earlier, you'll have ballots everywhere, all in the streets. It'd be a big time mess, ripe for fraud, waste, and abuse. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that it makes sense for everyone to get a mail-in ballot regardless of if they ask for it or not? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. How do you feel about cats getting mailed voter registration forms? Does it make sense? Is it a logical thing to happen? Should a cat be able to vote? How about a dog? How about my pet ferret? How about a goldfish? I mean, where are we really going? Like the people from Atlanta, the officials said in the video, you got these out-of-town activists doing whatever they can for this election. And I figured it would be this way. Any election year, any big election, presidential election is always crazy. I think you're going to see much more of this as the days and weeks progress on up until November. And then once November hits and it's over with, then things will die down, in my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.